for the next place that we're going somewhere that is completely normal for Japan. However, if you were to drop this restaurant in the US, it would most likely, I'm pretty sure, be absolutely illegal. Hello everybody and welcome to Japan. You know, every time I travel, I try to discover kind of the specific foods, the unique foods of different cities. And in Japan, one of those dishes are in general egg. Japan makes an array, and I mean an array of different egg dishes that can only be found here in Japan that both have tradition attached to them. Whoa, there's a freaking roller coaster on the side of the road. Oh my god, that scared me. And these egg dishes both have a sense of tradition, but also a form of innovation. So with that being said, for the next 24 hours, I'll be living and eating off egg dishes here in Tokyo. Hi. One? Yeah. Thank you. So for the first item, you guys knew I had to go with the tomogoyaki, or in other words, the Japanese omelet. Now, a tomogoyaki is made differently from any other sort of omelet. It's made in a kind of rectangular pan and then rolled into different layers, making pretty much the only omelet I can think of that I could call thick. I really gotta stop doing that. Now you can find tomogoyaki pretty much all around Japan in different restaurants and honestly even 7-Eleven, but the place we went to is special. You see, this place has been open for over 80 years perfecting their omelet recipe, and the eggs themselves are even locally raised from Chiba. So with all that said, I've never had this before at this specific place, so let's give it a try. Man, that is special. Before I was describing this omelet as thick, and don't get me wrong, it is thick and it's pretty heavy in weight, but honestly this thing just like messes with you. Unlike, you know, Western style omelets, this is actually quite sweet, making for a pretty interesting combination of that like eggy, rich flavor combined with light and creamy, soft, warm texture. But this is already starting off as an incredible day. Now, a lot of times in the US, we only eat eggs for breakfast. Like for me, the first thing I think of when I think of eggs are like 2 sunny side up eggs with a piece of bacon, maybe a sausage, and a few pieces of bread. But here in Japan, it's completely different. Like sure, people eat eggs for breakfast, but also lunch and dinner has specific dishes as well. So right now I'm headed to a place for lunch that specifically only carries this traditional egg dish on their lunch menu. Hello. Hi. One. Guys, I seriously feel like I've been transported into like a different time. Like you look around this restaurant and everything from the floors to the ceilings are traditional. The waitresses are also wearing a traditional kimono dress, and there's a specific vibe that I've never seen anywhere else. Now, what comes from this traditional vibe is also a sense of like calmness, and coupled with that I'm a solo eater sitting at the bar, I'm gonna have to be a little bit quiet here. Now in terms of the food, we have an incredibly special dish here. This is an Oyakodon. It's a type of donburi where chicken, egg, and scallion are all combined together and simmered in a dashi and then topped over a fluffy bed of rice. Oh, that is unbelievable. It's like all these ingredients could be made for their own dish. Like you have the tender chicken, you have the soft and creamy egg, and the rice itself absorbs that delicious dashi sauce of salty and sweet, making an incredible explosion of flavor, but also like just pure comfort. The only way I can describe the feeling is like, I feel like I was reborn into being Japanese, and my grandma made this like delicious Oyakodon straight from love, straight from comfort. Like I feel so much like love and warmth and comfort inside from this food. Wow, that was the coolest place ever. I didn't even mention it, but look at this street here too. Like it's this tiny little alleyway here in, I believe this is Shinjuku technically. Now for the next place that we're going somewhere that is completely normal for Japan. However, if you were to drop this restaurant in the US, it would most likely, I'm pretty sure, be absolutely illegal. Please don't demonetize me, YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the raw egg buffet. Thank you. Okay, so it says our restaurant uses more than 90% Japan-grown ingredients, earning a 5-star rating from Midori Chochen. So it's all you can eat eggs?
One rice.
Okay. So
many eggs.
Okay. So egg, all you can eat rice.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I take Thank you. Oh my gosh, so welcome everybody to the raw egg buffet. And this way of eating eggs has been done for centuries in Japan. It's really ingrained in the tradition of called Tomago kaki gohan. Now in terms of the eggs, the reason why they can eat them raw is because of the good quality of them. They source them all from local farmers around Japan, and supposedly they're of the utmost quality. And how this works is there's a little table up front with 5 different varieties of eggs, and you can choose from any of them. And they're all different types of eggs, ranging from a sunshine orange yolk to a yellow yolk, to even somehow a white yolk. So it's officially time to do the first ever on this channel egg taste test. This is truly an experience that I could not experience in the US, so I'm incredibly excited to try this out. So let's mix that together and try our first bite of supposedly these incredibly delicious raw eggs. Oh my god, look at that bite. Wow, that is a flavor that I have not experienced before. The first thing that you notice when you taste something that you're just not used to is specifically the texture. This texture is slimy and mushy with the rice. It's both like an earthy flavor, but also, you know, your common rich eggy flavor. But for me, I love salt in my eggs, so I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of salt in and continue this here. Oh my god. With the salt, it brings out this insane flavor. Now, it is a buffet, so I'm gonna finish these eggs and move on to the other eggs. Alright, so next up is the first yellow egg. And this kind of resembles more so what your everyday egg seems to look like. There's this like connotation in the US, like never eat a raw egg. Like when I was growing up, my parents, when they were like making a cake, and I would eat the batter, and in the batter there was like maybe, I don't know, 2 raw eggs. My parents would like freak out. So sitting here right now, it's so delicious, but also it weirdly makes it a tiny bit more delicious that I'm like, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Okay, so I got my second bowl of rice here, and next up is the rice egg. Now, this egg is made from feeding chickens simply rice. Now, I have never seen this before, and it looks almost like cream. So I'm mixing a tiny bit of rice in there, a little bit of salt, and let's see how this rice egg tastes. It's so interesting. It just like combines with the rice to make the cream. Oh, that is so wild. It's not as rich as normal eggs. It's more so like a light, kind of like airy flavor. It honestly tastes like an in-between of like a yolk and an egg white. I haven't actually tried an egg raw, just simply by itself. So call me Rocky. Let's try this raw egg. Like still trying to just like, wow, I am freaking stumped, man. Now I'm gonna start off by saying, if you're somebody that is not a fan of texture, drinking a raw egg, probably not for you. It's weird, but you can almost taste like everything that went into making that egg. You can taste the deep richness of the yolk, and coupled with that slimy bit, which also kind of coats the tongue. I don't know, I'm a fan. Oh gosh, I mean, nobody tells you how you're gonna feel after eating 7 raw eggs, and let me tell you, I didn't feel sick, I just felt like freaking weird, man. So after taking a nice sized break, I'm back at it. And specifically headed to a type of restaurant right now that I've never been before. Okay, so welcome everybody to a Yoshuku restaurant, which basically translates to Western style restaurant. Now, normally I have a rule that I never go to Western style restaurants in different countries, but this is a little bit different. This is in like a category of its own. See, back in the 1860s during the Meiji Restoration, there was a style of food popping up, which basically was like Western food with a Japanese influence. And one of the best and greatest examples of this is the Alma Rice, which is basically an omelet with fried rice in the middle, and then a demi-glazed sauce just topped on there. This looks absolutely outrageous, and the presentation is so cool with the flame underneath it. And personally, this is like one of my favorite ways to eat an omelet, and I've never had it in Tokyo before, so I'm incredibly excited to dive into this. so freaking good, man. The omelet is both thin in texture, but also rich in flavor, making almost like a coating for that fried rice. Now, the special sauce is literally that demi sauce. And egg by itself has this like creamy, rich in flavor taste. But when you put demi sauce on an omelet, I mean, it's purely sinful. That's one of the best omelets I've ever had. Like, no joke, that is absolutely incredible. I'm sorry, but I need a minute.
Was there magic in the moonlight? Was the timing of the song just right? The way you look through my eyes, straight into me. Something special about a southern sky, the stars dancing with the fireflies.
The only thing I can say is that this video was a very good idea.
Something special